Hi everyone, welcome to this BTEC National Health and Social Care revision live stream. Sorry, BTEC Tech Award, not National. We're doing Component 3 Health and Wellbeing exam warm-up, ready for you guys tomorrow. I can see loads of you in the chat. Welcome everyone. My name's Liz and today I've got Lynn with me. Hi Lynn.
Hi everyone, hope you're having a good bank holiday.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is some basic recap of the question types you're going to get on your paper. Then we're going to go through some revision questions, some quite nice ones, nothing too scary, following the sequence of the paper. And we'll give you some top tips as we go. To answer the questions, just type in the chat, which you guys are already doing. So let's get started because we've got quite a lot to get through. So on your paper, you have various different question types, which you can see on the screen now. So identify, state and give questions. They're worth 1, 2 or 3 marks. Some of these are multiple choice or multiple response questions. You then have explain questions worth 2 or 4 marks. These are marked in pairs, so you need to give 1 mark for an identification point and then 1 mark for a linked expansion. And then you've also got discuss questions, which are worth 6 marks, where you need to write in full sentences to discuss a variety of linked points. Okay, over to you, Lynn.
Brilliant. So just some top tips when you start your exam paper tomorrow. We want to make sure that you read every question really carefully. And I know everybody always says that, but it is super important. And that's often why students lose marks, because they misread information. So just really think when you read a question, is it asking me for a positive or a negative effect? Or is it talking about a social or emotional effect, for example? Just underline the key words in the question, just so you make sure you don't make any silly mistakes. Okay, and you'll find that there's a number of mini case study bits of information throughout the paper from about question 11 onwards. So just make sure that you annotate and use the case study. So just read the case study at least twice Check that you've underlined the key important information, and remember that the case study is your friend. So if you get a bit stuck on how to answer a question, just go back, read the case study and think, right, are there any hints and tips in that case study, information that I can draw out to help me with my answer, especially for the 6-mark discuss questions. Okay. And for the explain questions and the discuss questions, just make sure that your answers are applied to the specifics of the case study. So what you're saying makes sense in the context of that case study. Okay. Shall we get started on some revision? Yes.
Yes, we should. Just before we do that, I just want to say we're not going to answer any specific questions tonight. We're just doing revision. So we're asking the questions. If you have questions, please go and watch the replay of our exam clinic from last week where we answered loads and loads of student questions. I'll post the link in the chat at the end, but it is linked at the beginning, but I appreciate the chat is a little bit on fire tonight. So let's do some revision then. So first of all, we're going to look at factors affecting health and wellbeing and life events. So this is the first part of your exam paper tomorrow, okay? So our first activity is a give me 4. We want you to give us 4 examples of social factors that can affect health and wellbeing. So type your answers in the chat. I will give you 30 seconds and some music.
Go for it. Have you been learning your factor categories?
They definitely have, Lynn.
Yeah, I can see a few popping up. Amy's definitely been doing some revision, I can see.
Well done, Amy.
Yeah.
Ebony has too, and Nelly.
Yeah, well done. And Sugar Slime, like your name. Really good.
Okay, Lynn, do you want to run through some of the answers?
Yeah, let's have a look what we've got. So quite a few people saying isolation. So I prefer it when people say social isolation, actually. Remember that. So social isolation. Some people talking about relationships. So what type of relationships? We like you to talk about supportive relationships and unsupportive relationships, okay? So we've got social inclusion, social exclusion, supportive relationships, unsupportive relationships, and then quite a few people have managed to identify discrimination and bullying. Shall we just see if they are on the money? Let's have a look.
I think they're bang on. So we've got supportive and unsupportive relationships, social inclusion and social exclusion, bullying and discrimination. Well done, everyone.
Well done.
Really good key terms there. Over to you, Lynn, for this one.
Okay, so we're going to do a 60-second second challenge now. So we're going to show you some information on the screen, and we want you to match up the information on the screen to make 5 great answers to the following question. So explain the negative effects that drinking alcohol can have on health and well-being. Okay, so remember that's the question. You want negative effects of drinking alcohol on health and well-being. So 60 seconds. Can you match up the words on the left to an effect on the right? Okay, so they're all effects, but then you've got your expansion on the right-hand side of your negative effects. Okay, so can you match A? What does that go with? Does it go with 3 or 4 or 5, for example? So 60 seconds on the clock, and you might just want to put the letter and then the number and try and match those up together. Okay, let's take it away. Oh, people are on fire with the doing it already. Brilliant. Let's see. I'll check them as they come in. So as soon as you see a connection, put them together. Brilliant. Some people going for all 5 just straight off the bat, which is great.
Okay, they're all coming through so quickly, it's hard to pinpoint on one. I'm just going to favourite one person and we'll take that person through. So Ellen has said A5, so liver disease because alcohol damages liver cells. That sounds great to me. Ellen then says B3, depression and anxiety because alcohol is a depressant and slows down brain activity. Sounds very good. C1, addiction to alcohol as alcohol can become a coping mechanism for stress. D2, weight gain because alcohol is high in calories. And then heart disease as heavy alcohol consumption can increase blood pressure, leading to hypertension. So hypertension, high blood pressure, increasing risk of heart attack. So well done, Ellen, and well done everyone else that got that one correct. Let me just reveal the answers. So on your exam paper, you might get a question, explain 2 negative effects, or explain 1 negative effect, or explain how alcohol consumption of a person could affect their health and well-being. So you can use a lot of these answers in any question about alcohol. Okay, so negative effects of alcohol consumption, these answers apply to lots of different questions. So brilliant work.
Well done, everyone. That's great.
Okay, so I will start us off on this one, I think. So we're going to do such as seasoning. So there's no single one correct answer to this. There's lots of answers. So I want you to shake some such as seasoning to the end of this statement. Discrimination can lead to many negative effects, such as. So hit us up with all of the negative effects that you guys can think of from discrimination.
Yeah, on health and well-being.
Maybe
so yeah,
let's call some out as we see them. Neve says low self-esteem.
Yeah, we've got isolation. So Rosie, we like social isolation, so that's good. We've got anxiety, low self-esteem, feeling worthless, becoming depressed, bullying. So bullying, yeah, absolutely, like a form of depression, of discrimination. Low self-esteem. Yeah, Maddie's put no job. So actually, as a result of being discriminated against, you may not get a job. And then you need to go on then, Maddie, and say, what would the impact then be on your health and well-being?
Yep. Lily said physical harm, question mark. Definitely physical harm. Ebony said physical effects from bullying, for example, bruising. Yep.
Yeah, I also saw school refusal. So you might you refuse to go to school as a result of that. Really good.
Losing relationships.
Yeah, Amelia's put lack of concentration. So if you're being discriminated against constantly, it might make it difficult for you to focus on your work or your studies. Yeah, really good. And Maria, I like yours. You put no sense of belonging, because if you're discriminated against, you might not feel like you fit in. So yeah, no sense of belonging. Could be loneliness.
Nice answer from Vi there, talking about going to school or work less and then how that could affect your intellectual development.
Yeah, brilliant. Make sure that sometimes with these type of questions that you're really talking about that effect on health and well-being, which can be any of the pies unless it specifies. So it could be physical impact, intellectual, emotional, or social. Okay.
Lots of really good answers there. I don't think ours are anywhere near as good as those. Let's have a look.
Let's have a little look. Shake our salt and pepper on there, Liz.
Yep, so we've got anxiety, reduced self-esteem or social isolation. Okay, let's have a look at the next activity then. Over to you for this one, Lynn.
Okay, so similar activity. So community participation can lead to many positive effects, such as, so what would you say? If you're talking about a positive effect of community participation, what would you say? And can you think about a physical, intellectual, emotional, or social effect? I can see quite a few people straight off the back, sense of belonging to your local community. Really good.
Feeling included, feeling wanted.
Yeah, really good. And some really nice ones about positive self-esteem. So if you're actively involved in your community by volunteering, for example, you would have a positive self-esteem, high self-esteem, all really good.
I like that. Sense of purpose, which leads to higher self-esteem and self-worth, from Sir Egg. Well done, very good. Sense of pride as well. Also saw someone talking about bigger social circle, Ola. A few other people said that as well.
Really good.
Nice.
Try and make your answers use as much health and social care terminology as possible.
Amelia was talking about contentment,
And
satisfaction,
Renee, I really like
fulfillment.
Renee. She said, yeah, we've got better physical health as you could be doing exercise within the community.
Excellent. Okay, let's have a look at our answers. Don't think we need our answers tonight, Lynn.
No, it's great. Lots of people doing some fabulous revision. So we've got community participation can lead to positive effects on health and well-being, such as increased physical activity and social interactions and improved self-concept. So really good, but I like lots of yours as well.
Definitely. Okay, so next we're going to do amend the gap. So we're going to give you some text and we want you to help us complete the text with filling in the missing words and phrases. So our question is, explain 2 effects moving to a new school can have on health and well-being. So some things to consider about this is we need 2 effects. We need to explain them, so we need to say how or why they happen. And it's about moving to a new school. It doesn't say positive or negative, so you could have either. And then it says health and well-being, so that can be any of the pies. So we're looking for 2 effects of moving to a new school, positive or negative, on any of your pies, but you need to explain them, so how or why those effects are occurring. So we've got some answers on the screen, so you guys are giving us lots of answers, which is great, but we've actually got 2 answers here. Moving schools may result in developing more blank relationships, as it's an opportunity to meet new people and make new blank. Moving schools may make you worried and blank because you do not know anyone there and feel socially blank. So what I'm actually after is you guys to fill in the blanks. So I think Macy has already said, Lucy, supportive relationships and make new friends for the first one, which sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
And Lola said, I can't see her comment anymore, but I think she said anxious. So moving schools may make you worried and anxious because you do not know anyone there and feel socially isolated. Sounds good to me.
That sounds like 2 good answers for me. Each of those,
have
you've made a point and expanded them, make a point and expanded on them. So 2 really good answers there to that question you can see on the screen.
So I saw some questions saying, can we watch this again afterwards? Yes, as soon as we finish this live stream, it will be available as a recording, a replay. I'll also upload the PowerPoint to the Tutor2U website. I'll put the link in the chat, and I'll also put the link in the chat to the exam clinic from last week where we answered lots and lots of questions, so don't panic. Oh, and also, when do we finish? Hopefully at 7 p.m. if we get through everything in time.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll just go on for a bit more.
Okay. Next, we are going to think about physiological and lifestyle indicators. So while we were waiting to start, I did see a lot of people commenting on physiological and lifestyle indicators and getting a little bit stressed about it. The main thing I would like to say to you at this point is make sure you're using the reference values for BMI, blood pressure, and heart rate that are on the specification for component 3. If you haven't already found the specification or don't have a copy of it, I will put a link to it in the chat at the end so that you can refer specifically to the specification for those values, okay?
And page 42, Liz, just so everybody knows, that's where they are.
Brilliant, thank you, Lynn. Page 42 of the specification. Okay, so over to you for this activity, Lynn.
Okay, so let's start off with quite a nice give me 4. So we want you to give us 4 ways that having a high BMI could impact on current physical health. So you have to think, right, what do I know about high BMI? Is that a good thing or a bad thing to have a high BMI? And then how does it impact on current physical health? So if this was your question in the exam, you'd be underlining the word current. So how do you feel currently? Not, 10 years in the future, but currently. Okay, so give me 4. We think we've got 30 seconds on the clock for this one. And let's have a look what people are going to come up with. Let's have a see.
Remember what Lynn said, we're after current, so how it might make a person feel right now, today, in the here and now, not risks for their future.
And remember, it's your physical health, not mental health. Okay, so physical health we want to be thinking on. So I can see lots of people typing away. What have we got, Liz? Anything good in there?
Okay, so I have seen joint pain. I've seen reduced
Nice.
mobility, shortness of breath,
Yeah.
fatigue, palpitations, high blood pressure
High blood
because
pressure.
the
I think.
heart's working
Yeah.
harder,
Yeah.
trouble sleeping, tiredness, breathing issues, pain in the joints. I think that's all of them. Just having a quick
Yeah.
scroll.
Joint pain's a good one.
Snoring, someone said.
Your sleep apnea, I've seen.
Yeah, snoring, you're not wrong, but I would link that to sleep apnea. So sleep apnea is when you stop breathing in your sleep.
Yeah.
Which can be linked to snoring. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at ours then. I think we've got them all covered there.
Let's see what we've got. But remember, this is a physical health question. That's why I've always said it's really important you underlining the question so you're not giving an emotional effect. You need it to be on the physical effect on health. So we've got high blood pressure from a high BMI, joint pain from a high BMI because excess weight's putting that pressure on your joints, sleep apnea. So Liz, do you want to give us one of your lovely explanations of sleep apnea with high BMI?
So if you've got a high BMI, you often have excess fat around here, so chest and throat. So when you lay down, particularly on your back, that can put pressure on your airways and temporarily block your airway, which makes you stop breathing, and then you tend to wake up with a sudden start. So sleep apnea affects your oxygen saturations, but also the quality of your sleep because you're not getting good sleep. And it's actually linked to shortness of breath as well, in so far as if you're carrying a lot of excess fat and weight around, your body is generally working harder to carry all of that around. And also you might have more pressure on your chest and your airways.
Brilliant, making it more difficult to breathe. So, and I would always say try and go for the sort of the obvious answers. Try and go for the ones that you kind of know are safe answers. Don't try to be too clever, put in the things there that you've constantly been talking about in your class. So I really like these. We kind of try to put the more obvious ones down here.
Yeah. Okay, next one then. Back to a 60-second challenge again. So you've got 60 seconds to make 5 great answers to this question. Explain how a lack of physical activity can be a risk to future health. So I'm just going to start showing you the possible answers there. So a lack of physical activity, so not being physically active, how is this a risk to future health? So what problems could it cause in the future? So you've got your A, B, C, D, E are your risks, and then your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the explanation of those risks, because this is an explain question. We have to explain what or how is happening. So we'll give you 60 seconds to match up the A, B, C, D, E to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go.
Take it away. Robert and Ebony are straight in with answers, both thinking different things, so that's interesting.
Okay.
So take your time. There's a bit more description here, isn't there, on the right-hand side? Okay, River's had a go at all of them, which is great. And so's Mac and Jaden.
Okay, once again, everyone's super quick, so it's hard to pinpoint correct answers, but I think I've selected someone that's got them all right, but we'll take their answers and we'll work through them, Lim. So Blackfield says A2, so increased risk of heart disease as inactivity leads to plaque buildup in the arteries, which is called atherosclerosis, increasing the risk of heart attack. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
B5, so increased risk of type 2 diabetes. When muscles are not regularly used, they become less effective at absorbing glucose from the bloodstream, causing blood sugar levels to rise, which over time can result in insulin resistance. Sounds correct. C4, development of high blood pressure because the unfit heart is working harder to pump blood, increasing force on the artery walls. Yep. D1, increased risk of obesity as they may not be burning off as many calories as they consume and excess energy is stored as fat. And then E3, weakened bones and muscles due to a lack of weight-bearing activities. Well done, Macfield. You got everything correct. So I'll just reveal those correct answers there.
Yeah, so and I would say this is probably one of the harder questions on the paper, these ones, aren't they, Liz? And if you look at the kind of the explanations,
So just have a look at that. You can go back to this in the replay or download the PowerPoint afterwards. These are really nice explain how that you might be able to use on your paper tomorrow. We don't know what topics are going to be tested on, but this could definitely come up, okay? So moving on to the next one, and over to you, Lynn.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so from doing some practice papers, you will have had a look at seeing how they've got person-centered approach and recommendations to improve health and well-being. So these very much link to question 16A in the paper and question 14 as well. So let's have a little look at some of these. And when I say the paper, it's the paper as we know it in terms of the structure of the paper. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball about what's coming up, but we think it's probably worth you, covering all aspects of the spec. So let's have a little look here. So we've got a this or that. So we've got a statement there in the middle. And does that relate to the importance of a person-centered approach for individuals? Or does that statement on the screen relate to the benefits of a person-centered approach for health and social care workers and services? Okay, this is the sort of question that tends to come up for question 14. So what do you think? Does ensure their unique and personal needs are met link to individuals or services? What do you think? Just have a little pop in the screen. Is it this or is it that?
Yeah, let's go with individuals or services.
Yeah, individuals or services. That's all you need to write. So does ensure their unique and personal needs meet to the individuals or the services? I'm seeing quite a few people talk about individuals, not seeing much services being come up at all. So we see if they're correct. Yeah, brilliant. These questions for question 14 are often multiple choice as well. So if you know the importance of person-centered approach for individuals, some of those points, you should find that question quite accessible. So what about this one then? It saves money. Is that the importance of a person-centered approach for individuals, or is it the benefit of a person-centered approach for health and social care workers and services if it saves money?
Okay, Macy was straight in there saying services.
Yeah, just remember, for most people, they access health and social care services through the NHS, which is sort of free at the point of use initially. So in this case, being person-centered saves essentially services money. So that's really good because it can save time, be more efficient. So money is saved. What about this? More likely to follow recommendations and actions to improve their health. Is that for an individual or is that to do with workers and services? What do you think? More likely to follow recommendations and actions to improve their health.
Everyone's saying individuals, Lim.
Yeah, all coming through for me now, Liz. I can see. Brilliant. Let's have a look. Yeah, brilliant. Well done, everyone. And this one, it reduces complaints. If you're person-centered, it reduces complaints. Is that good for individuals or is it good for services particularly? What do you think? You could probably argue on one level that it could be both in the sense that individuals are less likely to complain if they're person-centered. But I think in this case, it is related to services. Am I right, Liz?
You are right. Yep. So is everyone else in the chat. Well done, guys.
Well done. And what about this one? More motivated to behave in ways that positively benefit their health. So if you're person-centered, are people more motivated to behave in ways that positively benefit their health? Is that for individuals or is that services? Everybody's got the hang of this now. That's individuals. Feel like everyone hopefully will feel quite comfortable if they get a person-centered approach question. So that's good. Okay, a longer one now.
Yep. So you know that you have 2 6-mark discuss questions on your paper, and they come with a scenario. So we've got a scenario for you here. The nurse wants to provide Ollie with some information and support to improve his health and well-being. Ollie has a demanding job that requires shift work, and he often works overtime. Ollie eats food from the staff canteen. He lives at home with his parents. The practice nurse suggests that Ollie eats a healthy diet every day. And then your question, discuss how Ollie's circumstances could affect his ability to eat a healthy diet. Now, remember, we need to have a balanced discussion, so we need to look at positives and negatives, okay? So just take a moment to have a look at that. What's going to support him or help him to eat a healthy diet, and what's going to prevent him or get in the way or make it harder for him, okay? So try and think of a couple of points for each side. And then we're going to show you some 2 student paragraphs, and we want to know which is the best one, okay? So we have student A and student B. So student A has said, as Ollie works shifts, he may not have a healthy eating pattern and could be tired, causing him to make poor food choices and lack motivation to cook healthy, nutritious meals. Working overtime means he may rely on convenience foods such as takeaways or fast food from the canteen, which are high in fat, salt and sugar. He also lives at home with his parents, who could support him by motivating him to eat healthily or prepare some healthy meals for him. And then we've got student B. There are many aspects of Ollie's circumstances that could affect his ability to eat a healthy diet. On the negative side, he does shift work and works overtime. He's eating a lot from the staff canteen, which may be unhealthy. He has a demanding job, which means he's working a lot. He lives with his parents. The practice nurse could help him with some advice about how to eat healthier. Are we going for A or B? I think everyone's saying A, aren't they, Lim?
Yeah, a lot of people seeing A. Yeah, and I think that hopefully they'll agree with our summary. I think we've got 2 breakdowns of why we like A more than B.
Mm-hmm. So we like paragraph A because it develops several points from the case study, shows the student's knowledge and understanding. It's a well-developed discussion, includes balance, looking at positive and negative circumstances. Paragraph B is not wrong, but the student hasn't really shown their knowledge and understanding because they've mainly just rewritten the case study, and that doesn't really answer the question, does it? So you've got to take the points from the case study, but then develop them and explain how or why that would affect the person's ability to make that change to their health and well-being. So well done, guys.
Brilliant.
Let's have a look at our next activity, Lim.
Okay, so now we're moving on to ways support can help and improve health and well-being and barriers and obstacles. So let's have a little look. So we've got, this relates to the kind of the table style question that you will probably be familiar with through your practice. So we've got a case study, and then we're going to think about some actions and ways to help Nikki. So she's got high blood pressure. She drinks 2 to 3 glasses of wine every evening and smokes cannabis at the weekends with her friends. She has a job where she sits down all day. Okay, so not the healthiest, Nikki. So we need to come up with some actions to support her. So let's have a little look what we could be thinking about. So we would like you to come up with 3 actions that the doctor could suggest that will improve Nikki's health and well-being. Okay, so think about the case study of Nikki, and then what can we do to help her? What 3 things would you write in the table? If you had a table in front of you, down the actions. We'll give you 30 seconds. And I've got a few people coming in already. So let's have a little read what you've got. Well done, Ola.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I've favourited 2 for you, Lim. So,
okay, thanks, Liz. Yeah, tell us what we've got.
There's so many answers coming through. Okay,
I know, it's hard to read them all.
Nellie said, reduce alcohol consumption, increase exercise, join a substance support group.
Very nice, very nice.
And then Mac says, quit smoking, reduce alcohol consumption, participate in physical activity to reduce her being sat down all day. And then I've just seen another really good one come up on here. Oh no, it's not. It's on the other screen. So someone talked about getting professional support for cannabis addiction.
Very good.
Reduce alcohol consumption to under 14 units of alcohol per week. And
Lovely.
someone else said, I think participate or sign up for physical activities or gym activities.
That's great. Let's see what we've got. Very similar, I think, to you guys. Remember, when you've got the table, make sure if you're writing actions, you're saying that's something they're going to do. So we've got the word reduce here, for example. So she's going to reduce her alcohol consumption to no more than 14 units per week. She's going to stop, because that's an action, smoking cannabis. And then she's going to increase exercise to 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. So make sure you've got a nice doing word that goes before your action in the table. Okay, brilliant. So, and then off the back of that, we want you to come up for each action to give a way that could then improve health and well-being. So, for example, if she reduces her alcohol consumption to no more than 14 units per week, how's that going to improve her health and well-being? If she stops cannabis, how's it going to improve her health and well-being? So just give us some answers that you would put in the way box next to those, pretending that this looks like a table. So how's it going to then benefit Nikki? Got 30 seconds, just bubbling away there for you. Oh, some good ones coming in now, Liz. Mm-hmm. Yeah, brilliant. What have you got, Liz? You managed to hold on to them quicker than I do. I think they all go off the tap really quickly.
Okay, well, I've got a couple. So Diem said, so reducing our alcohol consumption to no more than 14 units per week will reduce the risk of developing diseases such as liver disease. Lily said, increasing exercise to 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week could lower the risk of a heart attack and improve her social isolation. So that's actually, you've got two ways there. Lily, well done. And then I'm just looking for a cannabis one, but they're all flying through so quick. I'm sure I saw someone talking about lung disease.
Reduces lung disease,
and improves cognitive function as well.
Very good, Amelia. Yes, so let's have a little look. We should have very similar ones to you pop up on the screen. So reducing alcohol can reduce risk of liver damage. Stop smoking cannabis can reduce risk of lung damage or lung disease or cancer, actually. And increasing exercise to 150 minutes of moderate exercise will help her to maintain a healthy body weight or BMI. So excellent. Well done.
I think just worth reminding you guys that when you do this table in your exam, you need to have 3 unique actions, and each one has to have a relevant and linked unique way. Okay, so don't repeat your ways. Make sure that they are unique. Okay, we're nearly at the end now, guys. So we have some word smash to do now. So you need to combine the clue and the question or the statement. So combine the words with the picture to work out what key term we're talking about. And we're on barriers at the moment. So matters related to money, investments, banking, or the management of economic resources is what, and what is the picture? So Nelly, financial barriers, Emma, economic barriers, Jessica, financial barrier. Sounds good to me. Do you think, Lynn?
Well done. Yeah. And I would just say, when you're talking about barriers, absolutely you can say like the word financial barrier, but go on and explain what you mean by that. Why is it a financial barrier? Is it because they have low income, or is it a financial barrier because they're in a lot of debt, for example? So make sure you just explain the barrier when you have question 17A, okay? These style of questions.
Okay, next one. Still on barriers now. So we've got an image there. And then the state or fact of being weakened or damaged. What do you think this is?
Let's have a little look.
Oh, straight in there. So Chopper says sensory barrier, Lily sensory barrier, Macy sensory impairment.
Well done.
Yep, that is.
Yeah, so sensory impairment. You've got it perfect there. Jessica, well done.
Obviously, that could be a barrier for someone accessing health and social care if reasonable adjustments are not made for that person. So if a person has a vision impairment, if no one helps them or provides them with information in a way that they can read, then that is a barrier to them. Or if someone has a hearing impairment and their name is called out in a waiting room, that's a barrier to them. Okay, next word smash. We're on to obstacles now, guys. So those are things about your unique situation that might get in the way of you accessing health and social care.
What do you think this one might relate to?
Hourglass.
Yeah, well done. Razia said time constraints.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Well done. Really good. And obviously you need to explain why there's a time constraint. Is somebody got childcare responsibilities? Do they work unsociable hours? Do they work lots and lots of hours? Say why something is a time constraint.
Okay, next one, still on obstacles. So too difficult to be achieved. And then an image. Be careful not to say it, Liz.
Yeah. We nearly give it away. What do you think this obstacle might be?
Okay, we've got unrealistic targets, unrealistic goals, unachievable goals, unachievable targets.
Very good, guys. Yeah, really good. So sometimes it can just be too much.
Yeah, so telling someone you need to quit smoking by tomorrow, that's an unachievable target because smoking is really difficult to quit because nicotine is an addictive substance. Okay. Now we're on to overcoming barriers. So the state of being without or not having enough of something. And then there's a picture. So this could be something that could or could not help you overcome a barrier. Okay. Faith says
well
lack
done.
of support. Macy, lack of support.
Lola, well done. Lack of support as well.
Brilliant.
So lack of support, absolutely.
Someone said lack of resources. Hold that thought maybe for the next one. Okay, what about this one? Back to obstacles now.
So what do you think?
Say what you see. So lack of resources, everyone's saying. What about something more specific than lack of resources?
Yeah, what do you think the picture more relates to? What she's sort of saying that she is, if she's looking for love, she might be something to do with resources. That's a bit more tricky. We're a bit more abstract on this one.
Yeah.
Shall I give it away?
Oh,
yeah,
no,
available.
Someone's got it there. MCO Ghost, availability of resources. Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, MCO Ghost. Well done. You're one of the only people that got that one. That's really good. Yeah, sometimes you don't, there's not enough resources to be able to get the services you need.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so that is the end of our live stream and the end of our exam warm-up. I'm sure you're all really well warmed up now. You've been brilliant. You've had lots of really excellent answers. Final thoughts from us. Make sure you get plenty of sleep tonight. Even if you don't feel like you're sleeping, be in bed with the lights off, without any device in your hand, just relaxing. Maybe after this live stream, if you think you've done enough revision, which I'm sure you have, just watch some TV or read a book to switch off. I would recommend no revision after 8 p.m, okay? Eat some great food, maybe a snack tonight, and also for your breakfast tomorrow, make sure you drink plenty of water. If your teacher is running a prep session, like a breakfast session tomorrow, do go to it and adopt a positive mindset. You've definitely got this. Any other thoughts from you, Lynn?
Yeah, just to say, read the questions carefully, okay? Take your time, and wishing everybody the very best of luck. I'm sure you're going to do great. Just give nice, full explanations to everything. So best of luck, everybody.
Yeah, brilliant. Good luck, everyone. Take care and goodbye.